You know, all this economy and all this government, David Cameron and Boris Johnson and Rees Mogg and their economy, and in all this geopolitics and all the financial, even the stock exchange, all of it. I can't admit to knowing about it. People like Nancy Pelosi, who are experts in trading on the stock market, people like this. But I know one thing's for sure: you don't need to know everything about it and all the figures and numbers to know that something happened around the time Donald Trump became president, and everyone noticed this. All the prices on everything suddenly went up. The prices for paying shipping from America, just little things like that. But pretty much everything went up. And then the result of that, in America, it was legendary for having cheap fuel compared to everywhere else, because America's so big and people drive longer distances. Fuel was cheaper, and now the fuel is around the same price as it is to Americans, to English people, which is ridiculous because it was well known for being a lot cheaper, So all these costs. Now, all the businesses and manufacturers and companies claim that, everything is getting more expensive now, so we'll have to put the prices up. But they already owned everything. I've said this before, right? All of the companies, that buy materials, all the materials have gone up. But what the companies that make materials, why have the prices of their materials gone up, right? Because, the things that they buy in, the prices have gone up. Right, the price of sunlight can't go up when it's free, right? The person who gets the seeds, wage. If he wants to pay his workers more money, he can, right? But if he doesn't, he doesn't. Everything else, other than the workforce staff and the things that are completely free, like once you own land, right? Unless you're renting it. All these companies have bought each other, right? So when they say the prices have gone up, what they mean is that they've put the prices up, right? And then the people who supply them have put their prices up. But it's the same group of people, right? This is like Nancy Pelosi on the stock market, right? This is BlackRock Vanguard, who basically BlackRock Vanguard put the prices of everything up, right? Now, the result of that is that people can't afford things. People are having trouble paying their bills. People are having trouble buying things. People don't have any money to take legal actions or do campaigning or travel, right? All of the corporate elite have put the prices up since Donald Trump came into power. That's for sure. They chose to put the prices up. Now, the way they've explained it to us, or the way they say, it's inflation, or everything is getting more expensive now. No, they've made everything more expensive. It doesn't get expensive. They've put the prices up, and then, the people who buy their things have, it's a chain reaction. And they can afford to take the costs of normal living because they're extremely wealthy, right? So, okay, if they put the prices up of their own groceries they're selling, right, they might have to pay more money for their groceries, but the rich are fewer than the poor, right? So, the rich can always afford to take the hit of, paying for more expensive groceries when everyone else is paying more, because then they're still making profits. This is what I think's happened, right? They've pulled this fast one on us with the whole lockdown, and the government decided to give us all money out of furlough, but that was us giving ourselves money, because all the money the government had is from taxes, or they borrow it, right? It's not like, we basically paid ourselves, right? The big corporate companies didn't have to pay for it. We paid for our own furlough money out of our own taxes and out of, lending. So these companies have been doing, they've been making more profits than ever. And what's happened is, yes, all these other businesses have closed down, the smaller ones, like, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is saying, like, all the main shops in Los Angeles, but only because there's those businesses, a lot of them are still going. It's just that they sell from home, or they sell through Jeff Bezos, they sell through Amazon. They don't have shops that you walk into as much because they don't need to. Because they just basically have a warehouse, or they work from home, and then they just get things sent to Bezos's warehouse directly from factories, and then he ships it out, right? So I think, right, these people have been absolutely raking in profits, while we have been literally, people have been complaining that they can't pay their bills, that they're going cold, they can't repair their houses, they can't fix the mold. No one needs bigger houses. And we don't really need more houses if we've been having a lot of these, large percentage of deaths and so forth. The media and certain political parties have been pushing this claim that all these living standards are going down, but living standards have never been better in the history of mankind, right? It's so right in the 1970s and the 1980s when they're selling this, oh, it's cool, it's really cool and trendy to have a small house. Don't worry about it. Labour Party people enjoy it. It's cool. It's the place to be, like the broom cupboard with Philip Schofield. But now they don't want you to do that. They want you to not like it. They want you to want bigger, 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 right? Not just repair it or make it warmer or pay for the bills. You've got to build something bigger or better, right? So it's all about style change. But who's gonna, if everyone's poor, right? Riddle me this for Starmer, right? If no one can afford the cost of living, and no one can afford to buy their groceries, and if Sion Berry's right in the Green Party and no one can afford to pay their bills, how can anyone of those people afford to buy a house? Regardless of if they make them a little bit cheaper or not. The thing is that I think that all of the house building is going to be by companies that are already wealthy and rich and have made money and can afford it and then can make more money. And I think that if you investigate this, this is my hunch on it, right? And you can explain it how you want, with Pelosi's investments and, the stock market and all these complicated technical, economy people like, Ed Miliband, David Cameron. They've got lots of knowledge and technical information, but lots of lawyers like, Jeremy Johnson KC have got technical information and knowledge in law, but it doesn't mean to say that the six-page paper on parliamentary privilege isn't a load of complete tosh, which it was a load of tosh. He's a King's Counsel and now he's a High Court judge, and his legal paper was tosh, right? I've just watched £130,000 court case for Stonehenge over 3 days. And, I appreciate all the work they've put into it. They had like 3 big boxes, 8, 9, 10 bundles of legal papers, thousands and thousands of pages long, 8 barristers. There's, you can see there's £130,000 worth of, barristers, they want £1,000 an hour or whatever put into it. So, but over those 3 days, a hell of a lot of the allocated time, in the words that they read out. In fact, if you get the dialogue in seconds and minutes of what was spoke about legal points and filter out the dialogue when they say, now we'll go to page 62, bundle 8, right? So they're actually speaking words of only a number and a reference to a page, which anyone can recite or speak, right? It doesn't take intelligence to say page 62, bundle 7, right? The amount of minutes and hours actually just speaking page references and citations to direct to turn a page is actually probably around 1/3 of the time of the spoken words in the proceedings. So when you actually get to the knowledge conferred and the points made, it's about 2/3 of the time. And that actually probably works out. This is what I'm claiming, right? That probably works out about a whole day of page references and indicating numbers and pages, and only 2 days out of 3 of actual knowledge and information conferred. And out of that, many of the points of these high-level barristers, the judges didn't seem to think, and these are the highest level, except for the Supreme Court, High Court judges in the world, right? The highest level of law you can get in, business courts, in administrative property courts. These guys aren't stupid. They might not know everything about legislation or every act, but they're meant to at least, have years of experience in building and planning law. They didn't necessarily think that every single one of the, these people have got the best points possible, the best legal arguments they can find possible. And I don't think those judges thought all of the points were that valid or necessarily that relevant. And some of them, they didn't necessarily think they were relevant at all or that strong points. Some of them they did. Some of them they did. So out of it, I mean, I'm hoping, they're going to win this case, hopefully, but I wasn't that overly impressed with it. I mean, I can't say that I didn't understand all of it, but the thing is, it wasn't that loud. You couldn't hear everything they were saying all the time unless you got really close to the computer and was quiet. I'm not writing it off at all, I mean, I could never put together that amount of work probably or present it or represent it, but from what I've seen, you might not need to, if you've got fewer strong points that are definitely absolutely valid without question, exploring those, they didn't seem to, I don't think that they elaborated and discussed that many points actually in that great detail, unless it was taken for granted that once they'd referred to them, they go on the basis that I'm an expert, everything that I've checked is correct, and we know when I raise this point that, we're taking it into consideration that it's already fact-checked correct or it wouldn't be in here, so we don't need to explore that part of it or the points of it. I'm just pointing out and referring to certain things. It was more a general guideline and reference to the body of work they'd submitted. But, at that level, so, and even then, it didn't necessarily have to be that expensive or complicated, I don't think. So when it comes to the economy and all these numbers and figures and all this Nancy Pelosi, stock market investments and all the rest of it, I think that, in my opinion, it's very likely that we'll have the same principle and basis as what's going on with people like Jeremy Johnson KC with his legal representations when it comes to the economy as well. And knowing what they're doing with the law now in Parliament when it comes to like Magna Carta and the Liberty of London and these congestion charge and things that aren't actually lawful, that they're not lawful, that they're kind of like just doing what the hell they want. When it comes to the economy, I've got a very strong feeling that it's going to be the same thing, that actually a lot of it is a blag and tosh, and they're just doing it for their own benefit and saying it how they want us to hear it. Now, I think that even though there are lots of intelligent people who, put money on the stock market and, the Spectator, BBC, ITV, all these financial experts who know about the whole stock market and economy, they've got loads of expert lawyers, but they don't seem to be voicing the comments or coming out with the facts and truth about all the illegal thing that's going on in London. So, reporting on the economy and so forth and trying to make out, it's really serious and I don't mean that it's not serious, but what I mean to say is that all this talk of growth now, there can only be this, what they call growth, is because someone's got a massive amounts of money to spend in order to what they call grow or build. Now, I'm banking on the fact, or betting on the fact, that it's Donald Trump, Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, BlackRock, Vanguard, all these companies who are going to now, and they've got ownership of, Care, Balfour Beat Me, Taylor Wimpey Homes, all those companies that got investments in, shares in, massive profits. And remember that no one stopped doing highways work or building houses through lockdown. They carried on the whole way through. There was no stopping. The building has not stopped the whole way through. So I don't know what the Green Party is talking about, because building has never stopped the whole way through. They were given special key working privileges the whole way through that whole pandemic and lockdown, right? So what is going to happen now is that now from the rise of Trump, they started fleecing us. They put the price of everything up. But who called it? Oh, Maximus Merciful. Like, oh, the price of peas have gone up. The price of peas. What they did is they all consented at the same time. Oh, we're all going to put the prices up now and rip everyone off, which is what Trump did. He ripped his own country off, right? There was none of this. Oh no, the prices of peas have gone up, so we've got to put up the prices. The prices of seeds. The prices of metal's gone up. Well, when's the metal? Well, the metal fabrication place. And what about where they're getting the machines from? Well, the price of machines have gone up. No, right. When I count to three, when Donald counts to three, all the companies that BlackRock own, put your prices up. Wait for it. 1, 2, 3. Now, right. That's it. Right, turn the dial, boop, that's it, right? That's what Trump did, right, to all the Americans, right? When I count to three, all your petrol prices are going up, all your meal prices, everything is up, right? When I count to three, it's like 007 with that, GoldenEye, that the freaking... It's literally like the GoldenEye, when on Bond, when they put the keys in together, and that general goes into the GoldenEye base, and to start it, you've got to put the key in at the same time and both turn it, but it needs two people because it's like wider than, one person can't do it because both the key terminals are wider than one person's arms. Like there's one at one end of the desk and then there's another one right at the other side of the desk, so you need two people with two different keys. Then they put the keys in at the same time and then they both have to turn them together and then to activate the GoldenEye thing. So it's like Trump. It's like 1, 2, 3. It's like, okay, when I say put the prices up, everyone, all the companies that we own, put your prices up now, right? And then go, then Cameron, the economy, everything's gone up. This is it, right? And what they've been doing is they've been absolutely fleecing us on overdrive and stock. They've been hoarding it all up, right? Well, been all in that's what actually the real lockdown joke is. Like, we've been locked down financially. We haven't got enough money to travel, to buy food, or else otherwise we'll be able to put into political campaigns and legal cases against these people, legal cases against the government for ULEZ, legal cases against Sadiq Khan, criminal prosecutions. We'd have money to actually use against these people lawfully, right? What's actually happened is they've raked all the money off us from around I think it was around the time Trump but, you know, they were raking us the whole time through anyway, but they really went into overdrive. And then now that they've got all the cash, right, which is, you know, now Rishi Sunak's pretending that because of this whole bodge up of the pandemic, but really it wasn't a bodge up, it was planned to go that way, right? What they're actually doing now is all that money they've got saved up and stockpiled from fleecing us from when Trump was in, right? Now, the only thing stopping them from now, how they're gonna ramp it up now. This is what Starmer's talking about, a transition, right? So what they've done is it's almost like the you know, it's like the tide coming in and out. The tide of money has come in. They've got all this massive amounts of money from all the prices going up, but they own all these companies, remember, and all the shares. Remember, Nancy Pelosi is the model for this. How much, you know, Nancy Pelosi was riding that bobbing boat in the water, you know, like some kind of, you know, master yachter, you know. Pelosi's been riding that wave. She's been gambling that casino for all this, and she's been absolutely raking it in. So she must have been knowing what's going on with all these companies, right? And now, they've got all the money. So, you know, now how do they ramp that up to the next level, right? They've got all the cash, but now they need to spend it, right? What are they going to spend it on? Well, when you've got massive amounts of money and you've got anything that, you know, you've got any grocery price increase is literally a joke. You know, it's like a giggle, you know, or, you know, even their clothing or their fur coats. These people are mega rich. So, you know, there's nothing that they don't have. You know, when it comes to, like, you know, Chattel's tables, chairs, sofas, you know, Mar-a-Lago golf club, you know, Trump's golf clubs, there's nothing, there's no thing, there's no furniture, clothing or food that these people could possibly need, because they have got absolutely everything that money could buy when it comes to objects, Chattel's, things. They've got their things. They don't need anything, right? And they've got all the money from us in profits. Now, what are they going to do with that, right? Well, they could keep it in the bank and get interest on it, but you don't ramp it up as quickly just keeping it in the bank with interest, right? How they ramp it up is now Starmer, right, is gonna, the only thing stopping them is us, right? We can stop them because they can't build everywhere without permission from us. We are the last frontier of having the say in what they can do. Now, they have now taken the complete and total, you know, all these policies. When it comes to social media, when it comes to using their businesses and companies that we need now, they've got these policies, you know, comply, obey, consent to all these policies, right? No one can afford to take them to court. The CPS won't prosecute anyone for anything unless it's a violent crime or something, right? We can't take them to civil court. We've got no money. We've been made to comply to all their policies, right? The last thing that we've got really against these people is our consent when it comes to opposing them with our will, which is by petition or objections, right? And that is the final thing that our last power. It's actually really one of our final powers, the right to object to their building, because we ain't got nothing on them now. In the fact that they own all the businesses and we have to comply to their policies and all the businesses. I mean, you know, these people now can even harass us. They can, you know, be a nuisance to us through social media, adverts, all these, you know, treatments by their companies. The CPS and police will not entertain any legal actions against these companies, you know. and you don't even know who they are. You can't even speak to anyone. They don't even want to tell you where they are. So our law is basically being overridden by these policies, even though really it hasn't, because a lot of them are illegal, but they're making out it has. So Starmer, the saviour of human rights, who has already supported and backed this complete total elite, he wants to take away our last power, which is our right to object, not by pound notes, but by your say, by your will, your conscience, I do not consent. I do not, consent. I oppose, I object. He wants to strip that down. And literally, there's nothing left in a human being then. There's nothing left in a person. There's nothing left in a man or a woman then. You're literally a complete and total obedient policy, muppet. You literally are a policy bot, And I think that these people now, with all this they've got this massive tidal wave of cash that's coming from all this petrol they put up, food they've put up, bills they've put up, the price of, even a metal widget now is not even £3, it's like £10, right? They've got this huge, huge tidal wave of cash. And it's got to go somewhere now. And what it's going to do is Starmer is going to release it. Release this tidal wave of Trump's money that he's stolen from us, robbed us, blind, right? Like Doomsday. Your farm's not worth, £2,000 anymore. It's only worth 500, your petrol, it's going to cost you, it's not £2.50 now, it's £15. They own everything, and they put their prices through the roof. And the Green Party are not holding them to account. The Lib Dems are not holding them to account. Labour is not, because they are in on it. And also the newspaper, the magazines, the media, everyone now. It's like, no, we're not content with the broom. It's not cool to be Philip Schofield in the broom cupboard anymore. It's not the coolest place to be in the country. It's like forget the Tory, get a conservatory. You need a conservatory. You should have a conservatory. Yeah, don't worry, it's not going to let the heat out of the house, so Siam Berry will, be able to, complain that, it's too cold because she had a Tory conservatory built, and it's just all the cold's getting in now because, the windows, there's too many windows in the house, there's an extra room to heat, right? It's like, you need to go bigger, English houses really are crap, they were never good. They were always crap from the start, England's not pretty. England's not beautiful. There's not, England's shit. Starmer doesn't like England. He thinks it's crap. He doesn't like it. He can't have liked it. He prefers Davos. He doesn't even like the government. Starmer doesn't even like the government of England. I thought he was going to get rid of the House of Lords, and he's just given when his Attorney General a peerage. This tidal wave now, what they're going to do is they're going to release all that money that they've stole from us, and they're going to use it to build all these houses, and they'll be able to. They've got the Trump has fleeced us so much. He's rinsed us, right? Gates, Trump, Bezos, Zuckerberg, they've rinsed us. Rinsed every drop of money out of us, right? And they've got this horde tidal wave. And now what Starmer is going to do is going to go, release the Cracken. And then they're going to be able to afford to build, they're going to blitz with cheap, they're going to be able to afford to sell us houses for cheaper, but they're going to be able to do so many of them, they're going to make an absolute killing out of it because of the quantity of it. And the profits from it is going to, the money they've already fleeced from us is going to ramp it up to the next level. They're never going to have seen profits, not because of the price they're charging for the houses, but because they're going to build so many of them, right? And it's going to put them, it's going to turn the tidal wave into a hyper tsunami of cash. These people are going to have a tsunami of profits from all this building and houses when they've already rinsed us, released the Cracken. And that is what Starmer is then going to, say, this is profit, and I don't think that we're going to recognise the place, I don't think that we will recognise the place. It's going to end up like Texas or somewhere like that, It's going to end up like some, the change when all those McDonald's and KFCs appeared and all these showcase cinemas, Orion cinemas, the place doesn't look the same now. All these football stadiums, we didn't have, those places didn't exist. And it's turned into America or Australia in those places. And now they're saying, that's what caused the harm. That's what caused all the sperm count dropping through the floor. That's what's caused all the obesity, right? What's going to replace it? They're not saying, let's, build fields there and grow vegetables and fruit there. No, they're not saying replace the cinema. Even George Clooney has turned away from Biden, because he knows that, why pay George Clooney to act once you've got all George Clooney's, movements and, voice in a computer? It's cheaper just to, tell the computer what to say and what to do and use AI to get George Clooney, deep fake George Clooney. What's the point in paying George Clooney hard cash when you can just get the computer to be George Clooney for free? Once you've got the program, you don't need to pay George Clooney. In fact, the program, can do it all itself. You don't need the actor. You don't need George Clooney. That's the thing, So even some of these, famous actors are going to be out of the job. But, I think, this is the next thing. But I also think that they're going to do what they did in the war when they bombed Plymouth. And I think it was really sad that Plymouth got bombed, because I think it would have been absolutely amazing to have seen the old original maritime Plymouth in its actual original form. That would be priceless. But now it's just, retail outlets, Asda, drive-thrus, McDonald's, cinemas, that people aren't even going to be going to the cinema now. People aren't even going to the cinema because they've got either, in these new big Starmer houses, they'll all have their own cinema screen at home, right? But whose home are you going to? Are you all going around to Starmer's house to watch it? It doesn't work. I don't like all this. I don't like it. We're going to end up, I think they're going to want to demolish a lot of England. And I actually, there's nothing wrong with houses in England. There's absolutely nothing wrong with existing properties in this country. This country has got absolutely beautiful, amazing, interesting, and intriguing places from one end to the other. If people, why isn't Starmer got a genius plan for giving grants to people to get rid of mold, to repair houses, to do it up, to keep it warm? That's what the Green Party should be doing. Why do they need to build more and more and more and more? I don't think it makes sense. And then, you've got Andrew Bridgen and other people talking about all of the mysterious, deaths and so forth, and the population has been dropping from that. So why are they so? Why do they need them? Well, it's clearly to do with this immigration issue. We've got all these. The war's been driving people over here, and if they move people into all these houses, they're going to end up putting all the immigrants in the other houses. Or something, that's for sure. That's definitely on the cards. That's what they're kicking off about in Ireland now. There's too much opposition to this. There are too many groups. There are groups with hundreds of thousands of people, like, 80, 100,000. That means there's enough people for a petition to Parliament in each Facebook group. You've got Colchester Council Watch, you've got that Rachel and Orca Love as well. All these political people who've got strong oppositions to councils. You've got so many green groups that have been opposing industrial building and industrial planning that have been isolated and separated and not able to somehow get people behind them mysteriously. I think the government have been dropping the algorithms in those groups so they can't get support or help, when really the amount of people they've already got should have won already, but the councils have been denying them the true rights, and now Starmer wants to take away that right, so you can't win. It's you've got all these groups in Ireland, you've got all the ULEZ groups, all the 20 mile an hour groups. Only 59% of people turned up to vote. Starmer didn't really wipe the floor because there was just fractions of other parties. It's not what this country wants. I don't think it is what this country wants. And I think that unless they're totally scammers on the internet and they jip us off with the algorithms, which they're definitely doing. We're being hacked now. I've got videos where, they're just hacking us. I can't, eBay messages won't send, or Facebook replies just don't work. He's blatantly as well, not even trying to hide it, just like really, we're being hacked. We're actually being hacked, and it's not a figment. I've got evidence of it. I've been recording it. I've actually been recording it happening. Buttons are just vanishing when I go to like something or reply, So I even think they've been making it so when you send messages to people, they've not even replied to you. They've just cut you off. So, you think the other person's just ignoring you, but they're not, right? And certain people in a certain group, they can't do it to everyone. There's too many people. It's literally like in the Evil Dead film, when there's loads of little, when they go into the windmill in Evil Dead, and there's loads of little ones, loads of little copies of him everywhere running round, You've got Starmer and you've got Sunak and Johnson and, 77th Brigade, but there's too many of us. There's like, there's thousands of protest groups. They can't focus on everyone. There's just too many people, which is why they haven't been given us our rights in the courts. They can't stop everyone, which is why they need surveillance and AI. But, we're being fleeced. The many are being fleeced so the few can prosper. The few financially rich people. And they're going to, claiming they're going to, we're going to help you out. We're going to build all our houses, you might as well just fucking bomb, just bomb the place, because that's where we're going with this. If we don't comply, they're going to use Putin, and then you really will not have a country left, like after World War II, because that's what they do to get the job done. If we don't comply with what they want, then they'll just use the war. They'll bomb bombers like Plymouth. They'll be bombing Coventry so they can, they'll be bombing all the terrace houses, in Coventry and Liverpool, or sending Putin over for that. That's effectively where we're going with it, So I think that they've raked all the money in since when Trump was there, and now they're going to ramp it up with massive profits from unrestricted, unlimited building. Boom, just like release the Cracken. And I think we'll, we won't be recognisable. We weren't recognisable after the 1980s. We weren't recognised. I don't think, we were recognisable after they released the Big Mac. Released the Cracken. Once they released McDonald's and KFC, the Colonel, that was it. The shopping mall. Some places escaped. Some places in the countryside escaped, but most places, it's not recognisable. And I think that, after the next wave, it's just going to be this, I've seen what they're building here. It's not pretty, that's for sure. But they're building in beautiful places, but they're not building pretty things in beautiful places. They're building cheap, packed in places in beautiful countryside. So they get, you get a beautiful place, and instead of getting a beautiful place and building people something amazing, what they're doing is just building crap and ramming it in with rushed, economical, or balancing numbers. No one would, why numbers restricting it? The problem is the people who have got all the money, if they cared about the country and England rather than their bank account and profits, then they would make the country nice, but not force it to be made nice in places what don't want it to. And this is the thing. And also, they're not promoting people. They're trying to get people to not like anything and think the things that they've already got aren't good or aren't nice and that they're crap and they need to get different things, which means that this is why they're going for this you'll own nothing and be happy, because if you keep the things that you've got, you don't want new things. And all their new things are implementing new forms of advertising control, guidance, directions, directives, and, Elon Musk's saying that he won't even have mobile phones anymore. I am actually getting a bit sick of it now. Every single other video is getting nearly the same, but it's not just me. The other channels, all of the other channels are the same. They're all starting to go over pretty much these same themes now. And I don't think that unless, I really don't know what's going to happen, because there's a certain core of people, and it's not even a majority. It's not even a majority of the whole country. It's this hardcore minority who just keep voting Labour. They're either blind or stupid. There really is something wrong with them.